Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hadidu and today we're going to be doing another video and we're going to be talking about these beautiful things that we would like to call relationships that many of us exhibit A wish we were in but don't have, and that's okay. I wanted to talk about my, and maybe perhaps even your, we discussed like our most intense experiences with this word that's always being thrown around, this toxic word, and we're going to talk about toxic relationships. But then I put a little question poll thingy, forgive my English, but I put a little those ask me question things on Instagram, and a lot of you seem to have a lot of questions or things that you wanted to talk about and air, and I said it's cool, we can talk about this on YouTube, and then I don't know, maybe I'll do like a mini relationship series. The honest truth is that I never know what you guys want to do, and I never want to bore you people, and I try and keep the videos, I don't make them long. I hate long videos on YouTube, I don't finish them, so I always try and make them as interesting as possible. I'm ranting, so let's just get into it. So I have all of your questions, I have some of them here, and I have some of them on a receipt because I write things down. That's how seriously I take you guys. And I just, give me 1 second, I'm back. So with Will and Jada trending and everyone being on their asses about how they don't think that their love is what everyone thought it is, it kind of made me realize that maybe we aren't as progressive as we'd like to believe. Because at what point in time in a relationship do you decide, okay, this is now damaging for me and I need to take a step back, I need to take a breath because this isn't, it's not okay anymore, it's not working for me. And that's what they did, and they did what worked for them. And let's be honest, so many of you are in open relationships, you just don't know it. And I mean, at the end of the day, they have what I would much rather have in comparison to a marriage. They have a relationship, a real, genuine, wholesome, a real relationship. So many of you, so many people, you know, and we might have seen this with our parents, or, you know, just people that are married now, of what the idea of what we want as a marriage is not really what materializes when you step into these relationships, and then all of a sudden GG doesn't last and it's over and everyone is like, ah! But guys, at the end of the day, what is it? It's not about you being happy and you doing what works for the both of you and your relationship lasting. Anyways, so I have this book over here with questions, and the reason I was talking about Will and Jada, someone asked me that, someone said, what's so wrong about their relationship? And I was like, yeah, indeed, what's so wrong about it? Aren't they doing what works for them? Someone asked me, what do you think of dating to get over an ex? That's what Nature asked me, and I'm like, no, guys, heal before you get into a relationship. Heal. If you don't heal from what cut you, you'll bleed on what didn't hurt you. Other people don't deserve that. No one deserves that. You don't date someone to get. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I've also I've done certain things that I'm not proud of in order to try, but it doesn't work. It does. Now after 6-7 months, it's July. Only now did I start dealing with certain feelings that I had pretended like shouldn't exist from a relationship that happened a very long time ago, like 8-7 months ago. Only now am I starting to deal with it, and only now is it starting to traumatize me. Okay, fine, I've worked through my rubbish now, right? But like, I thought that if I just pretend like you never existed and get someone else to replace you, I won't have to deal. It doesn't work. Heal. It's so important. Closure is imperative. What's your take on long distance relationships? It can work. It can work as long as the four of you are willing to put in the, I'm kidding. You know, it really depends, guys. It depends on what the basis of your relationship was. Personally, one of my love languages is physical touch. I would struggle to to deal with someone and have to, when you have to, like if it's something that's temporary, like say we're gonna do the next 6 months, we're gonna have to do this because of this situation at hand or whatever, that's fine, that I understand. But I can never go into a relationship from the get-go knowing that if I was to say I'm moving away, and like you see, all of us, the issue that all of us go through now in high school is that when we finish, unfortunately, like learning in Zimbabwe, is that a lot of people after high school have to go abroad to study, and it happens that you don't go to the same place. I would not continue that relationship because personally, I don't see how sustainable it can be. I'm not just about to get into a relationship for a solid 4 years and then just hope that somehow we're gonna be reunited. But if that's what you guys believe in, sure. But personally, I can't. So this hand says, I was in a relationship for 8 months. And they never asked me out. You weren't in a relationship, you were in entanglement. That's an entanglement. I'm kidding, guys. You know, I when it comes to labels, I'm quite picky when it comes to labels because sometimes I think labels are necessary. Like, you know the connection that you have, you know the connection that you have with your person, and you don't, people always say we were never officially in a relationship. Do people still do that at our grown age? Like, on the 17th of January, I asked you to be my girlfriend. Like, is that still a thing that happens? Because I just like to believe you start talking to someone, then you establish, you develop a connection, and without even having to talk about it, you suddenly know that I can't be acting like a hoe because there is now someone. It's about your relationship again. So everyone today must talk about cheating. I wouldn't know. Someone asked me, how many times do you forgive someone for cheating before you call it quits? It's tricky. It's tricky, guys, because I won't lie. I'm not gonna be one of those people who lies and says if someone cheats on me, I'm packing my bags and I'm out. And if my future spouse is watching this, don't try it because I've said this. But the truth is that I've been cheated on. I may have never confronted them about it, but I know, okay, 1 or 2 times. But all the times that I was cheated on in a relationship, I know. And that's when I realized that it's not that easy to just say, you did this, okay, peace out, I'm out. When you genuinely and wholly love someone. For me, it was more like the few times that it happened, I knew how important I was to that person. And okay, you're gonna say that if truly you love someone, you're not gonna go cheat on them. But I wouldn't know. But it really depends on your relationship. But the pattern that I've noticed is that when people start to cheat on each other, the spark that they always had is no longer present. And then all of a sudden, it's like there's other issues. And then that issue comes and then someone's like, hey, you did this, I'm out. But the truth is that, yeah, it genuinely, I think it boils down to your relationship, but otherwise, yeah. What's your take on high school relationships? I was having this conversation the other day with Tenda and I was just talking about how I wish I never dated in high school. Because I feel like it did more damage than it did good to me. Like, here I am, I'm been out of high school for about what? It's July now, finished high school in October, November. It's been 9 months, a whole baby later, and none of them materialized, except for a whole lot of pain and a whole lot of scars that I have to deal with. But then it was brought to my attention that, can you imagine if you had to start dealing with that now? You see, my sister met her husband in her first year. I think they've been like dating for like 10 years now. They're married now. I didn't want to start being in uni and going through all of those things. You see, now I know what I want, and anyone who, and I'm not saying it's a checklist. No, that's a very far-fetched idea that my person has to be X, Y, Z, W, you know, W, X, Y, Z. Like, that's a far-fetched idea, but I know now that there are certain things that I'm most definitely not going to chill for, and I'm glad that it happened whilst I was still developing, you know, rather than for me to start experiencing now. Because you're okay, when this happens, it's because this person is feeling like this, and when this. So the scars weren't my favorite. The scars that I have to deal with, they weren't my favorite, and there are people that did real damage to me, and there's damage that I did to people for real. But I would like to believe, I'm a firm believer in the notion that everything happens for a reason. So I wouldn't take it back, but I would just be careful. Because Kumbuse, to me, the problem with teenagers is not the relationships themselves, it's the fact that we rush into those relationships. And I'm like, it's true. Someone else said, is sex a fundamental part of a relationship? No. I don't believe it is. I think that it's, one, the honest truth is that this whole sex before marriage thing is quite overrated. Although, personally speaking, I don't see myself realistically saying I'm going to save myself for marriage, because I plan to get married 10 years from now, and that's a long time. But I just think what's imperative is that you need to wait to. It's not about waiting per se. I'm not talking about this from a biblical perspective, if that's where your question was coming from, and I doubt it was. But I regret giving certain aspects of myself to people. They didn't deserve to know me like that. And that, I don't just mean that physically, I mean that even emotionally. There are certain people that I didn't deserve to sit down with, and they didn't deserve to know certain elements of me like that. But Sam Smith said that real love is never a waste of time. So if that's what it is, it's fine if you're ready, emotionally prepared for it, and the baggage that comes with it. And by baggage I mean the connection that comes with it, because it is quite intense. That's something that we pretend like it isn't, but sex is pretty intense, and it comes with a lot. So it's not a fundamental part of a relationship. It's generally, is being in a relationship overly romanticized? I don't know, Slitty. I think so. I think the superficial aspects of being in a relationship are what we have sensationalized, and that's the issue. Personally, there are people like me who are single, and we say we want to be in relationships, but for me, it's not really about the gifts and all of it. It's just, I think, having someone who you know is completely there for you and is committed. But you can find that in friendship. I have incredible friends. I always say, like, I thank God for, because in that department I was blessed. But I think for me, it's just that sort of intimacy and that bond that you have with someone in your relationship is not always the same as it's not the same intimacy that you share with your friends. But I think generally the aspects of why we want to be in relationships nowadays is one. But I'm not really saying anything sensible. But my thoughts on marriage and love. I'm such a romantic, hey. Like, I want to get married. I want to have a big, beautiful white wedding and kids and have that sort of. I always say that I want to experience what I never quite witnessed from marriages, from a lot of the marriages that surrounded me growing up. So I want that, and I do. I want to have that person. If a relationship isn't sunset roses, do you stay? My most toxic relationship, let's talk about toxic relationships, why do we stay in damaging relationships? Okay, so my next video I'm going to talk about toxicity. That word is so oversubscribed. But I'm going to share my personal experiences, and then I will talk about some of these questions. So you guys that are watching this right now, if you haven't already sent, you can send more about your personal experiences or stuff that you'd like to understand. But thing is, a lot of that it was very bad for me. So I'd like to talk about it like in depth in this mini relationship series. But otherwise, I think that's about most of what you guys asked me. I wasn't very clear, I won't lie, with my questions on YouTube. I hadn't decided that I was gonna do a Q&A until like 30 minutes ago. Then I just took some of the questions that you guys had sent me and made them into like questions that we can discuss. But is there some people that I'll never get over? Yes. I still love the people that I have left. If I've ever said I love you, I meant it, and I still mean it, and I still love you. But sometimes love on its own is not enough. There are people that are kryptonite to me that I probably will never get over in that way. But that's okay. That's fine. I watched, you guys, yeah, guys, go and check out my favorite YouTubers for this week have to be Cheza and Natalie Nachibo. They did a similar video, I think last week, about crazy exes, and I might just steal that idea. So go check them out, they're really incredible. And